everyone, so how are you today? Just thought I'd put a Facebook Live out there, let you know I'm okay. Yes, I am. So I wanted to let you know about a particular scam that's going around, and one that I actually got caught in, which actually kind of started gradually over time. This particular one was, I became friends with someone on Facebook many years ago. You know, he'd ring every now and again, talk to me every now and again, see if I was okay. And then it was like recently, as of October 2019, he started ringing, texting, videoing quite a lot. And we built up this friendship. And, you know, he's got the cover of his book as his Facebook profile, and, you know, when I looked him up, because he used his pen name, you know, his writer's name rather than his real name, I couldn't find anything bad about him on the internet. And so he saw that I had put a post up on Facebook saying that I was going to be writing a book soon. And he took full advantage of that to exploit myself and the lack of time that I had to write the book. And so I wrote a rough draft, and you know, over about a 4-month period we became really good friends. And you know, we had also done a lot of Zoom video sessions on my book, my life, what it was like for me growing up, what it was like for me as an adult, who I am today, how I can help people with their lives through, you know, through my book and through my system that I'd put together, because I've been through quite a lot in my life. And then he decided, once our friendship had gotten to a certain point, that he would send me you know, a very poorly worded thing through, saying that basically you know, he would ghostwrite the parts of my book which didn't read, which he thought didn't read all that well, and that sort of stuff, because I didn't type it up, I wrote it out. And you know, he would also stitch into the book the contents of the Zoom sessions that we had about my book, and you know, the interview topics and that sort of stuff. And he also said, look, I've got a fabulous web designer here who's ready to do the work. I've got a typist here who's ready to do the work because I can't type myself. And I've also got an editor over here who's ready to do the work. All you need to do is send me X amount of money and I'll get things rolling for you, and I'll get those extra bits written into your book, and I'll get the typist to type it up and send it back to you. So anyway, then a month later, after silly me sending the money, he sends me this message, even though we've been talking like every day, you know, with video calling and, you know, texting on WhatsApp and, you know, also on Zoom and that sort of stuff. He goes, oh, the typist I have no longer wants to do any typing for me, so I have to find another typist. And so in the space of about 3 to 4 months, he tells me about a number of different typists, and, you know, how he thought they were going to do the work and then they didn't, and they put it off, and then all of a sudden he does find a typist, and she gets COVID. That's right, she gets COVID, and so she needs time to recover. And so he's given her the manuscript to my book and apparently a down payment. Guess what? That was a lie. The way I found out was basically he forwarded on to me, because he was a little bit sloppy, the email that she had sent him with a very basic query letter for my book, right? And so her email address was, you know, on the bottom of that email. So I contacted her and I said, look, you know, my friends told me that this has happened, that's happened, and while he was in hospital on his deathbed, you went gallivanting around the countryside with your mother and didn't do any typing. And, you know, I really tore strips off her because I really thought that what he had told me was the truth. And so the next thing I know, she's contacted this so-called friend of mine, and you know, he's really angry with me because I contacted her and I didn't tell him, you know, and because, I don't know, because that's just the way that he is, I guess. And so we start to fight. And I stop, because he's sending me all of these vicious, nasty text messages via WhatsApp all the time and emails. I stop responding to them. And I'm thinking, well, okay, this typist has not responded back to me. So I looked her up on LinkedIn and I had a bit of a messaging discussion with her on LinkedIn, and that's where I found out that he'd never given her the manuscript to my book. He'd never given her a down payment to do the typing, and you know, and all she was ever hired to do was to you know, type up some letters for him for court, and he would pay her $50 over the table. And she also told me that he tried to make me look crazy, and so that she wouldn't contact me, so that he could just sort it out himself. And it's funny because the emails that he sent to me was that you know, that she was crazy and that she was nuts and everything. And so that friendship actually died. I asked him via email for my money back, gave him my account details. I also asked him for my intellectual property to my book back, because, you know, that's the manuscript and, you know, all the other materials. And he said, no, I'm not going to give them to you. And then he started being really mean and vicious and everything else, and I had to take a step back. So what I'm trying to say here is be careful who you are friends with online. Never, ever, ever go full-heartedly into a friendship or a relationship online unless unless you know them properly, unless you know them well, unless you've, you know, researched them and you know all about them, you know, unless you can find other people who they've dealt with in the past and speak to them. Try and keep your friendships, if you can, in the same local area as you. You know, because I've learnt a valuable number of lessons through this, which my article tomorrow night will actually tell you about, but it has been a hideous experience, and you know, it's been really how shall I put it, a little bit traumatic for me. So I've been dealing with a lot of these emotions of, well, this person ended up being my best friend and he's betrayed me, and he built our friendship on a lie to begin with so that he could scam money and the intellectual property for my book from me. Now, this particular person also has a string of books coming out later next year, and I truly believe that he's probably done that to other people in the past. So I would say that his books probably aren't even his work. So be careful, guys. Anyway, I'm going to go now because it is a beautiful day here in Melbourne and I need to get some sunlight. So I'll see you again next time I do another video. All right, bye.